and welcome to episode 6 of, Deaf Poynters, where I talk to you or, give you advice or whatever about deaf and or disability related problems in the car, pretending we're going for a drive. But the truth is, I may have to start thinking about changing the setup, because it is getting too damn hot to start filming in this car anymore. North Carolina springs and summers are nothing to mess with in a car where you have no air conditioning. Or I have air conditioning, but it's too loud for this. So, with that said, let's get on with this episode. Hey Rikki, I just signed up to the local deaf social club in my area since I am learning Auslan, Australian Sign Language. I recently found out that people who aren't deaf can't give out sign names. Out of curiosity, why is that? Also, if you're hard of hearing, can you give out sign names? Very good question. A lot of people don't know this. First things first, hard of hearing can fall under deaf because we are talking about culturally deaf people and not just lower D medically deaf people. That sounds kind of strange when you word it like that. Real quick, the difference between lower D deaf and big D deaf, lower D, big D, is there's a medical and a cultural difference. So even in the big D, yes, you're still medically deaf, obviously, but it's more than this. This is just, okay, I'm deaf. These people mostly are just oral. Kind of like how I was, basically, and still sort of am, depending on the situation. But then when you got Big D over here, right, the whole cultural thing, fluent in sign language or any, the sign language of the country that you're in, right? And then very involved in deaf cultural things, events, meetups, anything, very involved in history and what have you. So there's a difference there. So you can be hard of hearing and, be in this, and you can also be hard of hearing and be in this sort of area. So there's that. So yes, hard of hearing people, assuming that you are, deaf, the big D deaf, and in that little cultural thing, yes, they can give out sign names. So to talk about why only deaf people cannot give sign names. Now, if you're hearing, let's get this out of the way. If you're hearing and you're gonna give out a sign name because you don't care, so be it, but that doesn't mean that people are gonna approve of it. So, okay. Nobody can force you to not follow a cultural rule, but, you do you. So, okay. Now on to the point. The reason why is because it is a cultural thing. That's what it is. So you could consider it cultural appropriation. I know, that big bad word that a lot of people hate. You could consider it cultural appropriation when a hearing person gives out a sign name, and yes, that includes Coda, aka a child of deaf adult. So there are 2 pages that I screenshotted that really explain why it's very much only appropriate for deaf people to give out sign names. I feel like that's probably a better word to say. It's more appropriate, whatever. So my friend Abby from Puff made a post about this, and I'll take out a little part of it. So in the first paragraph, she talks about how if you get a sign name, right, so the sign name must be agreed upon by you and, most importantly, the deaf community. So when I got my sign name, which by the way is this, K-I, 2 K's in my name, which sometimes I end up doing it 3 times, but okay. I have a video, wherever side it will be, about my sign name, if you want to go watch that. And it was agreed upon. Josh Castile made it up. Jules was involved in do we agree on this? And then I said yes. So, okay. I am going to make this part clear, though. Hearing people are not allowed to give sign names. Even codas aren't allowed. Only a deaf and a hard of hearing individual is allowed who is involved in the deaf community. Why am I mentioning this? Many hearing assume that just because they have a deaf or hard of hearing friend, that means that the deaf and hard of hearing person can give a hearing person a sign name. Wrong. We must get to know you, understand your personality, who you are, before even deciding to give you one. You must also be a good working relationship. That has nothing to do with it, okay? We can't just give you a sign name, and the community must agree with it too. Why? Because some people or location may have a similar sign for some one thing, which may not be appropriate or offensive. So that's kind of not really about, that's more about like hearing people receiving sign names, something like that. But here is something from lifeprint.com, which I absolutely love if you're trying to learn ASL and and you can't afford classes and you don't know any deaf people around you. LifePrint is the way to go. I have that. It's great. Okay, so Bill Vickers, is it Vickers or Vikers? I think it's Vickers. In general, only people who are culturally deaf should give name signs to others. So, operative word being should. The reason you should get your name signed from a deaf person skilled in ASL and active in the deaf community is because such individuals have enough experience to know if a potential sign name is grammatically correct and culturally appropriate. Getting your name signed from a deaf person who is active in the deaf community helps ensure that the new sign name doesn't conflict with local name signs or those belonging to prominent or historically important individuals. So, I think that last paragraph right there pretty much sums it up very, very well. Gives more of an explanation rather than just, no, you can't do this, or because it's a cultural thing. This just gives you a little bit more of a detail, and hopefully gets hearing people to kind of understand why that's kind of not a thing. I think I've seen some comments in some past videos about how, coming from hearing people, and they're kind of like, well, why can't I give a sign name? Like, what the heck, you know? But that paragraph is why, because deaf people who grew up with this, with the language, will know more and better than you. Especially if you're not very familiar with any history, you know? Like, if you were to give them something that's inappropriate, that would be a bad thing. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight and helps every single one of you understand a little bit better. Also, I don't think I said who sent in that question. The person's name is Miranda. So thank you, Miranda, for this question. I very much appreciate it. If you have a question or something that you would like answered, like my advice, or if you want me to just rant along with you, because we know I'm good at that. I'm good at running my mouth. Send me an email at deafpoynters@gmail.com. Right here, you know, over here. Don't forget to check out my website, deafpoynters.com, where there are articles and stuff that you can read, and rikkipoynter.com, which is my public speaking website, and I would love to be hired for stuff. If you want to follow me on all my social media, links to that will be down below. If you want to help put my content, you can do so by being a monthly patron on Patreon, or you can leave tips on Coffee. Both links will be down below. I upload every Monday, Thursday, and Deaf Poynters on Saturdays, and I will see you later. Bye.